Hello everyone, and welcome to Counselor Ear Feature Friday. I'm your host, Brian Urban. In these features, we hope to give you some simple tips, tidbits, and tricks to make your days easier and your patients happier. In this feature, we're going to talk about how to set up and apply custom visit checklists. This is a tool that enables you to very specifically define what types of documentation you need for specific patient encounters. What I mean by that is if you see a patient and you do a full hearing test, right? Your documentation around that is quite different than a walk-in clean and check. And this feature supports you in that way in that it enables you to track what's needed on a situation by situation basis. So basically what happens is you can set up your checklist templates here. You can optionally apply them to appointment types, right? So we pick different templates for the audio appointment type than we would say a clean and check, right? And then when you go to create the visit for that encounter, you can use the checklist to help you define, have I completed the areas that I need to complete? And if so, counselor then will automatically set that visit, as complete, the status as complete. So that's the high level. Let's get into the details as to how this works, how you set it up, how you apply it. So to begin, we're going to click on Administration in the top menu bar and then select Visit Options. This is where we can set up these templates and put them into use right away. Okay. Now, before we do that, I just want to define some quick areas in this screen. The area we're going to be focusing on is the clinic settings. That means that any of these options, the variations, the checklists that you set up are general to the whole clinic, to your whole organization, right? So every staff member will see the same options here. User settings, of course, is specific to each individual staff member. So you can have your own preferences regarding these different options, most commonly regarding the floating toolbar in the patient visit screen. So whether you wish to see that or not, you can activate or deactivate this. It is your choice. No one else will be affected. Okay, so this bottom area is just for you. The clinic settings, of course, is general for everyone. Okay, so when you first go to this screen, you'll see, of course, the initial option is default, right? The default option is really handy because it's really your fallback. It basically says, okay, if there is an appointment type where you haven't assigned a specific checklist template, let's go with the default, right? Or let's say you create a visit where there isn't an appointment connected. Let's say a walk-in clean and check. You didn't add them to the schedule, perfectly fine, but of course you want to create a chart note. So then counselor will use your default settings. Now the default settings tend to be pretty basic, right? Most commonly, really just the chart note would be selected here. And really what's that saying is that once again, for the clean and check patient, that's just the walk-in, you probably just need a chart note, right? Whereas from there, we can say, well, let's create more complexity here. Let's add more options. So you can then create more checklist options here. So for example, here are 4 we just set up. Of course, this does not have to match what you want. You can describe these however you want, pick whatever options you want. But if we take, for example, here, audio plus referral, what you're going to see is that a whole bunch more options become required, right? And so this is basically saying, in the case where we're doing an audio, we also have, let's say, a physician referral. Here are the things that we are looking for, not just the chart note, but of course, a variety of other things as well, okay? And what we're going to see here in just a little bit is that these visit checklists, as I mentioned before, can be applied directly to specific appointment types. Okay, so you can set up as many different template options as you like. Simply click the Add Template option, type in your preferred name, and then go ahead, set your options, and click Save at the bottom of the screen. And you'll start building your different options. If you ever need to change something, like, for example, here, audio plus referral, we could modify the layout name, or the template name, sorry, and we could modify this on the fly, right? So we could change this however we wish, okay? Now there is one other option here I do want to highlight, and that is the manual visit tracking. So if you're saying, you know what, in certain scenarios, or maybe even across the board, I don't want to use this visit tracking. I just want to personally, manage this. I want to track this, on my own. Then you would go ahead and choose the opt-out of checklist. So once again, maybe this is your default, is to always be opted out of this. Or maybe you just have one checklist template that is a manual version, right? So you can apply this or not apply this however you see fit. Okay, so once again, you would choose the options that reflect the needs for specific scenarios, right? Then what we're going to do is we're going to then apply these. So we're going to go to Administration, the top menu bar, and then select Appointment Types. Okay. Now, of course, this is the area where you can create new appointment types. You can edit existing appointment types, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to pick an existing appointment type here. Let's take the audio selection. We'll edit it. And we're going to look right here at the visit checklist area. This will give us the option to select our preferred checklist. So in this case, once again, we see the list that we just saw before in the visit options screen. I'm going to choose audio plus referral. Okay, and then save. So now for this appointment type, it is going to automatically set that visit checklist when we create the visit related to any audio eval selection appointments. Okay, let's see that in action. So we're going to jump to the schedule here. Okay, so let's take this appointment here. We're going to jump into the patient's profile. Okay, of course we could go through by selecting chart notes from the schedule as well, but I want you to see this whole process. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and select new visit. All right, it's linked up the appointment type, or the appointment I should say, that includes the appointment type with the visit. As we can see at the top here, I do have the floating toolbar enabled, and so we can see all the items, all the different areas that are required to be considered complete as far as the visit checklist goes, right? So we can see there is that list that I had selected before. If we had left it as default, it would have only shown the chart notes, or if I used a different one, for example, audio that didn't have the referral, of course, we wouldn't see this. So we're seeing the specific requirements that we set up tied to the appointment type, and now being the list that we're seeing, of course, in the visit itself. Now, as we go through this visit and we start adding information, you're taking case history, you're building in test results, it's going to start removing some of these as those areas get fulfilled. Okay, ultimately getting to the point where you fulfill all the areas and the checklist automatically switches over to complete. Okay. Now I should mention, as far as these checklists goes, you always have control to override this, right? Even in a visit where maybe chart notes is the only thing that's required, you could still add more to it, right? So this doesn't limit you in any way. This just is designed to help you track what's happening for that specific encounter, which then feeds into, of course, your visit tracking from the dashboard level, right? Being able to see any visits that you have, in the appropriate widget, any visits that you have that are incomplete or complete, right, or ready for review. And so you can track that very easily within the visit itself, as well as from the dashboard. There are also other tools that enable you to track that information as well. So once again, this tool is designed to really tie together your expectations, what you need for individual encounters, connecting that to the appointment type, which then drives the requirements at the visit level, right, as you're creating the visit, and hopefully helps you track your visits very, very concisely and make sure that nothing ever gets missed all along the way. So, of course, if you have any questions about this, please give us a call, email us, live chat us. We are always happy to help. Thank you very much for joining us for today's Counselor Ear Feature Friday. And as always, have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.